Up next, talking about teams with something big resting on it at the end of the season. Manchester United have a Europa League finals, a semi-final second leg rather. So too do Tottenham. How's that affected their league form? So obviously we know that relegation has been sorted at the bottom of the table, but Manchester United and Tottenham very much on course for their lowest ever finish in the Premier League. But it's not all doom and gloom. They both have an advantage in the Europa League semi-finals from their first leg. Man United 3-0 up, Spurs 3-1 up. There is a potential Europa League final between those two sides, and potentially they could qualify for the Champions League, having finished 14th and 15th in the table. No team below 12th has ever got to the Europa League final before. And this could yet, in this craziest of seasons, end up being relatively successful.
Unbelievable. You know what? When you look at where they are, and you look at how poor the bottom three teams are, and what was it? I think was it West Ham went down on 42 points once?
Yeah.
When you look at how poor these three teams, Manchester United and Tottenham would have been in a relegation battle if the teams weren't so bad the last couple of years. That's how bad it's been. But then they're in the semi-finals of, I can't understand it, in the European League. That doesn't make sense.
What's interesting as well, I mean, you talked about Arsenal not making the changes for the Bournemouth game. Manchester United named the record third youngest ever Premier League starting 11 of any team in their game. And they also had their youngest ever Premier League starter in that game as well. So that they've just gone into the youth and just said, right, well, do you know what? All our eggs are in this basket.
The thing about Man United as well, it's very fortunate for them because they've got players coming back now. Ahmad coming on at the weekend, you know, he's going to be a huge fillip for them.
And scored.
And scored as well, yeah. And I think as far as their momentum, you mentioned that word before, is concerned, it's going to be fantastic for them. The fact that they didn't concede in that first leg was absolutely crucial for them, because I cannot see Bilbao only got one win in their last 9 away games. They are not going to go, and famous last words, but it's unlikely that they're going to go to Old Trafford and win. I worry about Spurs because I think as far as Spurs are concerned, Glimt have scored 2 goals on each of the last 5 occasions they've played against teams in the Europa League at home.
They're potentially the story in Europe this season, aren't they, Bodo Glimt?
I do feel, and I'm not saying it.
Isn't smile already before you even said it?
But you do. When they score that goal, you do feel they really needed. Like United scored a 3, and it feels comfortable. You just feel like with everything in the way it's happened for Spurs, you do feel like if anything's going to happen where it turns on his head, it could be that Spurs game. I'm hoping for Ange's sake.
It could be the other way. And that's how Spurs have been. There is something in this Spurs story where they've been, first of all, really praised under Ange Postecoglou for, you know, being really exciting and you know, maybe they'll lose a bit, you know, in terms of their defence, but this is really exciting to, oh my God, the wheels have come off. They don't have any players to pick from. He won't adapt how he plays. And then Ange coming out very bullishly at the start of this season and saying, I always win a trophy in my second season. There is something... There is something great about that story. That's all there is. I'm not talking about possibilities or anything, but just as a story, the comeback would be incredible. The redemption arc is set.
Against Man United, though, Kels, you know, who needs it more? You know, Ange, Man United, the finances, that story.
I hope it happens.
Me too.
But for either of those sides, would it paper over the cracks from this season, do you think?
It definitely would do, but what he would do is it would mark the Premier League's strength down as the best league in Europe in terms of the fact that there is a domination of English clubs. You can look at Chelsea in the Europa Conference League as well. Arsenal obviously got every chance still in the Champions League. I know you can say that. But I just think for us, it's a fantastic fillip for English.
It's brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it happens. I really do.
You want to see a Manchester United against Spurs final?
Only if Arsenal get into the Champions League.
You don't want everyone else having great away days.
No, can you imagine having a season like Tottenham are having? We're having this season. We don't win the Champions League or get to the final, and Tottenham win the Europa League. You can't go into North London.
So you're here. You might be here next weekend. You might not be here next weekend, depending on what happens.
Honestly, Kels, I'm so nervous.
I mean, either way, you're either still going to be in Paris, or mentally or physically, you might still be in Paris next week, or you'll have gone missing. But either way, we will be back with the show next week at the same time. Karen and Darren, Kaza and Daza, thank you very much for coming in to join us. We will see you at the same time next week. For now, though, from all of us, bye-bye.